Welcome everybody to episode 3 of the BravoPB wheel, the game where we spin the wheel and we use whatever 3 ingredients it lands on. So I hope you guys are all enjoying this. I once again got myself a great audience who's going to help me cheer on. Episode 3 features numbers on the wheel for the ingredients. So what happens is I have my audience here all picked an ingredient, and if their ingredient / number lands, I have some prices for them. So here we go. Here's my game show voice. Spin the BravoPB wheel. All right. So episode 3 is gonna start with garbanzos. And we are going to land on mustard. Spin that BravoPB wheel. Okay, and we have poblanos. Poblanos, mustard, and garbanzos. That is the episode 3 today. Okay, the winners get, I hope you guys enjoy this. So if you guys sign up at BravoPB.com for my newsletter, you get the starter pack, which includes this fella right here. It's a fresh produce shopping list on one side. On the other side, it's a dry goods shopping list. Now, how this is very useful to you is you get yourself one of these and you laminate this as these are. You guys can put this on your fridge, and then you mark whatever things you're gonna need for today. You go shopping, and then you go, okay, we're done. Then a couple days later, when you need to go shopping, then you mark those other ones, and then you have this, a reusable shopping list that you can use over and over. So here we go. So poblanos, garbanzos, and mustard. Those are the ingredients. Hummus. We could make hummus. If I was going to make a hummus, here's what I would do. I would put the garbanzos with the mustard, and I would add some raisins. So I would take some raisins, soak them in a little bit of vegetable broth, get them softened up so that once they go in the food processor, they would get nicely blended. I would throw some mint in there. I have some mint. So it would be this mint, mustard, sweet hummus that I could then take some of these poblano spears with. So it would be a spicy together with the sweetness of the raisins with the hummus. That's what I would do if I was gonna make a hummus. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this guy and throw it in the oven. So it's gonna be a roasted. So we're gonna do a stuffed poblano. How's that? The poblano pepper is roasting in the oven, 350 degrees, convection. If you don't have a convection oven, do it at 400. And all I'm trying to do is just to roast it a little bit, okay? And with the poblano in the oven, what's happening in there, it's evaporating the natural water content that's in it. So that way, the flavor is concentrating within the pepper itself. Make sense? We need some shallots. I'll take some ginger, pecans along with that. We'll take some fennel, snap peas, take some lime, and let's go with a hint of mint and cilantro as well. Well, we'll get those in a minute because the herbs have to go in at the end. All right, so here we go. I am going to take my onion, shallot. Shallot is an onion, a small onion. Okay, set that off to the side. Luckily my ginger's already chopped. Japanese mandolin here so that I can slice my fennel. Okay. With these, if you buy one of these, It shouldn't cost you any more than about 30 bucks, somewhere in between 25 to 30, okay? If you decide to buy one. I love having these because they, allow you to slice every single time the same thickness, which is kind of nice. Was it a question?
What brand is that?
The brand is, if you Google this, it's a Benriner, Benriner. It's a Benriner vegetable slicer. So, my idea is that I have something that's spicy-ish in the poblano, okay? And we're gonna make, I wanna make this sort of tart filling to go with it. With my snap peas, I'm just gonna cut them in a bias like so. I know that there is some vinegar in the mustard, and if I end up adding a little bit of lime juice to it, I am gonna get that sour tones that I'm looking for to complement the spiciness of the pepper. That's what. So quick trick, before I do anything, okay, I'd like to get as much flavor out of the pecans as possible. So when the pot is, kind of warmed up but empty, okay, nice and dry, I can go ahead and add my pecans and then toast them a little bit to get more flavor out of them, if that makes sense. So this is a way for you to get more flavor out of nuts and seeds. In this case, pecans, but certainly almonds, cashews, sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, any of those, if you toast them, you get more out of them. Being a couple feet away from the pecans, if I start to smell them, I know that I sort of woken them up. Right. So, onto my mixing bowl that I'm going to use a little bit later, okay? Now I already have a nice and warmed up pot, so my shallots can go in, my ginger can go in. So I want this to be a big chunks type of stuffing that we're going to put in the pepper, okay? I don't want to blend this into, as we were talking about hummus earlier, I don't want this to be a, what's in there, I can't tell, okay? I want some nice big pieces in there. Okay, so fennel goes in now, and then I'm going to take my microplane zester, add some lime zest to the pot. I'm sorry? Dry saute, that is correct. Okay, now the peas get to go in.
Oh, wow.
Now, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking the lime smells really good in there, but I know that I have some vinegar in here. I don't want to overload this with too much sourness, so I'm just using the zest, not the juice of the lime. Colorful thing going on here, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit of garbanzos. I want probably somewhere in the half and half ratio between the garbanzos and the all the other stuff. Okay. Again, because I want whoever ends up eating this to see all the big pieces. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add my mustard, just a touch. That goes in. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off now. And I'm just going to add a touch of vegetable broth so this is nice and moist. I have turned it off, so I'm allowing the residual heat to make sure everything is nice and warm. Okay. The rule of thumb for fresh herbs, rosemary and epazote are the exceptions. Everything else you should add at the last minute. So fresh herbs get added when you're ready to serve plate. Okay, so my herbs go in. The longer you cook fresh herbs, the less flavor you're gonna get out of them. They just sort of disappear. Okay, and now of course, anytime you cook as you go along, especially if you're doing without recipes, you could use a little bit more herbs. I don't get enough punch in there. Okay. A little bit more herbs. I'm going to sort of fight for any leftover lime zest that I might have here on my lime. I'd like that to come through. And then taste one more time. Ah, much better. Much better. Curious if anybody can see something wrong with this. So that's what it looks like. It tastes really good. But here for the audience, anybody see something wrong with this?
No red.
No red, yes, exactly. It's lacking a little bit of color. I want to take a little bit of this red onion, very thinly sliced, just so that I get a touch of that purple color in there. And if it's just a small touch, it isn't going to be too offensive, okay? And they did get a little bit lost in there, but that's okay because I'm planning on putting just a little bit on the top for garnish, okay? As well as the pecans. So now this sort of lime, fresh herb, you know, slightly sour to the mustard in there, with a nice backdrop of the garbanzos, which I know they're gonna be filling, you know, when I eat this, especially if I stuff this whole thing in there. And to that, a nice accent of nuttiness from the pecans. This is gonna be really, really nice. So this is what my poblano pepper looks like after it came out of the oven. So you see it's got a nice roasted look to it.
About how long did you roast that?
15-ish, 20-ish?
Was somebody turning it for you?
Nope, it sat like that the whole time. Okay. Peel that skin right off. But then you also got to get inside and get all the seeds out. Do wear some gloves. Poblano peppers are normally not spicy, but every now and then you get one of these that you're like, oh, you know, that's more of a jalapeno kind of thing, okay?
What's the issue with the skin on?
There is no skin, there is no problem if you leave it on. I like to take it off because it's hard to chew, and then it gets sort of stuck in your teeth and the back of your gums. So it's more of a nuisance. You know that time, those times when you're talking to somebody and they're looking at you and you're wondering why they're looking kind of funny, and it's because you got, you know, a tomato or pepper skin stuck to one of your teeth and you don't know.
So do they use poblanos to make chili?
Chile relleno. So this is your chile relleno pepper.
So sometimes the seeds tend to be hot or just a nuisance?
Both. They're always a nuisance, the seeds, but they can get to that, to be hot.
Okay.
And especially if, like I said, try, if you ever do this, make sure you wear some gloves.
Right.
And if you don't have gloves, don't go to the bathroom right after you handle these. Okay. I'm going to turn this back on to make sure the filling is nice and hot. I might break up the pecans just a little bit. Okay. So now I'm gonna add all of that in there. So this right here could be an amazing, you know, a really nice dish on its own. You know, like a garbanzo pilaf kind of thing. Okay. Take a spoon and lay that down. I did take a slit from the top all the way to the bottom to make sure that I was able to turn my knife upside down and scrape just about all the seeds that I could. The idea here, because the pepper has collapsed after it's been cooked, okay, it has lost the shape. I want to stuff this as much as possible in order to quote unquote inflate it. Okay, so I'll turn it towards you so you can sort of see. And then a little bit of red onion over the top.
That looks pretty.
That's looking nice.
Okay. Take a couple of the pecans, make sure there's one right on top. Stay there. There we go. Okay. So, there we go. Now, anybody see what's wrong with this?
There's no color around. There's nothing.
There's no sauce. When you see this, they're like, the chef forgot the sauce on there. And we're gonna make a really quick sauce. I'm gonna throw a couple of pieces of pineapple in there. So to stay within that sour-ish, tones, make sure I use a little bit more mustard. Okay. Maybe a hint of ginger, so it'll be a pineapple mustard ginger. And that's it. I don't want to make it too complicated. We'll add a little bit of broth to this, not a whole lot. I am going to use the pineapple both as the flavoring agent and the thickener, okay? And that is the reason why I'm only adding a little bit of broth, so that I allow the pineapple to help me create a thick sauce. Okay? Okay. So, just brought it up to a simmer real quick. Now, I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. I just wanted to bring it to a simmer so that I make sure that this is hot. Okay, so I serve a hot sauce with my dish here. In a traditional restaurant, the chef would have already smacked me in the back of the head because I'm allowing the food to get cold. Okay, but since we're doing this as we go, on the fly, that's okay. The other thing is that I have the stuff that it's nice and cooked. Everything went in the pot, it sauteed, it got, sort of brown, everything was, the broth went in there. And now I'm adding a sauce that is on the edge of being raw, because the moment that thing came to a simmer, the pineapple chunks did not have the time to completely cook out. So it's this combination of this sort of fresh something with this cooked something. That makes sense? Okay.
Taste it?
We are gonna taste it, or I am at least. That's nice, but we're gonna add just a touch more of the ginger and just a touch more of the mustard. The pineapple comes through beautifully. Because I used whatever was left in the pot, I also have these sort of specks in there, which when you have specks in your food, it tells you that there is some sort of flavor. 99% of the time. There is that one time when specks should not be there. Okay.
Could that be a new salad dressing?
It could, perhaps. Okay. Now, do you see how just that pops so much more because now it's got sauce, okay?
Yeah.
Your brain automatically goes, ooh, I won't have to chew it so much to incorporate enough saliva in there to make it, so that I'd be able to swallow it. There's sauce in there. There's, moisture in there. When I cut it and I take the bites, everything's gonna be really nice. Hopefully the flavors are all good in there. I see all these things going on in there. The plate is full, so I'm getting my money's worth. So that's it. All right, episode 3 of the BravoPB wheel. Garbanzo pilaf stuffed poblano pepper with a fresh pineapple and ginger sauce. Okay, I like it. I like it. All right, so I'm eating this now for my lunch, and I finally get to taste the whole thing with the pepper. Just as I had hoped, the poblano does have some kick to it, which is really good. Oh, it's got a little bit more kick than I expected. Ooh, so the spiciness combined with all the sour tones, especially with the sauce now, and the nuttiness of the pecans and just everything else, it just comes together really nice. The only thing I would say is for this, some of you might want to watch out for the fact that you can never know how spicy the poblanos are going to end up being. So I can see how this is too spicy for a lot of you out there. One of the ways in which you could do it, if you really wanted to, would be to taste a little bit of the ribs from the poblanos as you take them out. If they're spicy, it's gonna be spicy. If it's not spicy, then it won't. Oh, those the pineapple in there. You know, there's all these layers. At some point, I end up getting the combination of the pineapple with the mint, which is really nice. And so it came out really well together.